Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy OgMk, and today we're back with another reaction. Now, this is going to be a new person coming up on. This is TBH, the Black Hokage. Someone I've been watching since I was in middle school when he was MWN, but we ain't gonna talk about that. Today, the 10 most mid games of 2023. Now, I already got a couple of games in my mind, and I want to see if he touches on them, but I ain't gonna hold y'all boys no longer. Let's get right into the video now.
You wish you had the money to buy all the hottest games available at the time. As
Right.
an adult, you have the money, but now you lack the free time because the older you get, the more responsibilities you have.
Exactly.
Basically, adulting is trash. For those of you
Facts.
wondering why I stopped doing the top 10 worst games of the year type videos, it's because I'd rather not waste what little free time I do have kicking games you already know are trash. These days, I prefer to focus on having fun and playing games that I thought were going to be good.
This game, bro, Starfield, bro, I thought Starfield was really going to be good, man, but that game was fucking.
The key word in that last statement is thought, though. See, although I don't spend my free time playing known bad games, I do end up spending a lot of my time playing games that I thought would be cool, but they just ended up being mid. So welcome to a video I'm calling the 10 most mid games of 2023. And before we get into it, a quick disclaimer. The term mid is short for middle, meaning it's just alright. This term is often used incorrectly by people to describe trash. Something being mid doesn't mean it's terrible. It just means it's disappointing. We expected better. So understand, I'm not calling any of these games on this list trash. They're more like games that got lost in the shuffle because they just weren't good enough and a year stacked with quality releases. Also, this list is in no particular order. So with that being said, here are the 10 most mid games of 2023.
Let's get it.
The first game I believe most people would agree left the world disappointed is Atomic Heart. I know it's not the case now.
I seen this game all over TikTok, bro, and this looked like the most boring game when I watched some gameplay on it before I bought it, because I was going to try to make a series on this or some type of playthrough. Bro, when am I going to goddamn find a game where I can actually play from beginning to end and put it on YouTube? Because, bro, the games I've been trying to play, I've either gotten bored of it, tired of it, or it's just garbage. So,
but believe it or not, this game did have some hype coming into 2023. It was a single-player first-person shooter with an immersive alternate reality where the Russians took over the world after World War II. Before launch, it was drawing comparisons to other popular narrative-driven shooters such as the BioShock series. But then the game came out, and everyone realized it was nothing close to BioShock. I think the developers did a good job of crafting an interesting alternate reality, but that's about all this game has going for it. The shooting mechanics felt clunky, the game was buggy, and the story just was not interesting at all. It felt more like propaganda than a proper adventure. Matter of fact, you know your game is mid when this is the only thing anyone remembers from it.
The two robots, exactly. That's the only thing I know of the game.
Really turn me on.
Hey yo, what the fuck? If you forgot Wild Hearts released in 2023, I wouldn't be upset, seeing as I'm sure most people did. Wild Hearts was a co-op action adventure game.
I don't know what this game is.
Giant mythical creatures. Essentially, it was EA's stab at the Monster Hunter formula, and it failed miserably. I believe the biggest issue with this game is it didn't do enough to not earn itself the Monster Hunter clone label. The only difference between this game and Monster Hunter is this game had the engineering mechanic. It allowed you to summon items out of thin air to sway the tide of battle, and that sounds cool, but what it mostly boiled down to is allowing the user to summon crates out of thin air so they could fall on their face like it was 2021 again.
The crate challenge. I forgot about the. Yeah. Damn.
To add insult to injury, this
game
game
was
suffered
2021.
from severe performance issues at launch. I don't know anyone who owned the PC version who had a steady frame rate. Instead, we were met with constant frame drops and game crashes when it came to Wild Hearts. I think the sad thing about this game is that it wasn't terrible, it was just painfully mid. It needed more time in the oven, but sadly, it won't get it because EA shut down support for this game only 7 months after the release.
Jesus.
Yes, you heard that correctly. This game didn't even survive 1 year before being cut loose by EA. And from my research, the online still works. You can play the game, but don't expect any new content, meaning it's only a matter of time before the game
That
servers
bitch
are cut
moving in
offline
slow
too.
motion.
Next up on my
Hell
list of mid is
no.
Dead Island 2. The best way I can describe this game is
18 years, and on the 18th birthday, he found out it wasn't his.
Now, the world didn't wait 18 years for Dead Island 2, but we did
Right.
wait 8, and I found out quickly this game was not for me. The most impressive thing about Dead Island 2 is the fact
I thought Dead Island was gonna be a scary ass game, bro. But when that shit came out, this goofy ass game, man, it's one of them fucking things where you just want to get the most points and shit like that. Like, no one wants to play that bullshit. I thought this shit was gonna be like Dying Light, but this shit was fucking garbage.
it even came
I thought
out
the
because
Dead
it was in
Island series
development
was a
hell for
scary
so long.
game.
The graphics are decent
It
too,
was a
but after
scary
that,
series
there's
for
not
real.
much to rave about. What makes this game so mid is the fact the gameplay loop is stuck in 2011 with the original game. Seriously, there's nothing here you can't get in the original game outside the improved visuals. I couldn't make it past the first boss before uninstalling the game. Not because it was difficult, but because it was so boring. People say there's more fun to be had if you play with friends, and I don't doubt that to be true, but my counter argument
look
to
at
that
that.
statement
Like,
is
I don't wanna
always,
play
is a
this
game really that
bullshit?
fun
Look
if
at
I
that.
have to play with
This
my
Far
friends?
Cry
Any
ass
game my
shit.
friends and I play together will be fun due to the chemistry. Just some food for thought. My next top mid pick is going to be a controversial one for some of you, because some of you think this game got snubbed for a nomination at the Game Awards. And to
Which
those
was?
people, I say,
I disagree.
it was no way in hell Hogwarts Legacy was going to
No, this is cap. This game, to me, is at least an 8 out of 10. But that's just me, though.
earn a nomination for Game of the Year, considering the fact that 2023 was stacked with amazing games. The
I ain't gonna say it was
positives
Game
I
of
would
the
give
Year,
to
though.
Hogwarts
Hell
Legacy
nah.
is that this game is visually fantastic, the voice acting is nice, and the overall atmosphere in the world they crafted is dope. Where
And
the
the
dev team
gameplay
missed
is
the mark
fucking
was the
crazy.
gameplay loop. It was terribly repetitive. Hogwarts Legacy is a 40-hour game, and there's nothing you'll see in the 40th hour you can't see in the 3rd hour. Hogwarts Legacy, it plays like a generic open world Ubisoft game. It's just a bunch of repetitive side quests all over the map, such as take down an enemy camp or solve another pointless puzzle, but the game hardly rewards you for doing so. I think they should have spent more time fleshing out the combat system so it felt more dynamic. Now, in the second half of the campaign,
This shit
it was
felt fire to
a
me.
chore to play as well, and it's because the story is boring in the second half. The best storyline in this game is a side quest involving one of your Slytherin classmates helping you acquire a forbidden spell. There should have been more content like that. And last but not least, where the fuck is Quidditch? Next on my list
they
of
could've-
mid is
I
a
don't
game I knew
keep
was
that shit out the
DOA
game.
from the
I ain't
moment it was
playing that
revealed by
bullshit.
Capcom. It is called Exoprimal. Exoprimal is and bear with me,
This
it's
shit
a
looks-
PvPvE game where you and a group of friends take control of mech suits to fight evil dinosaurs invading your land. There's a bunch of objectives on the map you have to work through, but the catch is that on the other side of the map, there's another team of pilots looking to do the same thing. And this often
Right.
results in teams clashing in the middle of the map for objectives.
Mm-hmm.
What's cool is you can summon powerful dinosaurs to fight by your side, and you can even turn into one for a short period of time. This
Mm-hmm.
game honestly wasn't bad. It's fast paced, there's a lot of customization for your mechs, the game modes were fun, and so is the combat. I think the issue with Exoprimal is there was a lack of post-launch content, and the story's cutscenes between matches were pretty forgettable. It doesn't help either that the concept of this game is just a
This
tad
shit
bit
looks
out of the
a
box.
little-
So off rip, it was gonna struggle to find an
Yeah.
audience and find someone to market it to, because people claim they like different, but the billions Call of Duty makes annually says otherwise. The good news though is that Exoprimal is free to try if you own Game Pass, so I mean, if you want to try it, give it a shot. What do you have to lose? My next pick for
My
mid is
storage.
gonna piss some people off, but I don't care. This is my video, my opinion. Listen,
In
Final
time.
Fantasy 16 was mid as fuck. And what makes
Oh my god. See, bro. Niggas just be talking.
Final Fantasy 16 a mid game is it forgot to be a good game. The visuals are great, the music is amazing. I mean, during the boss fights when the orchestra was playing, mwah. But for the love of God, I cannot wrap my brain around how Square fumbled so hard on the gameplay. It just boils down to mashing the square button on your controller for the most part. They hired the director of Devil May Cry to come in and clean up the action, but instead what we got is a mindless button masher weighted down by 11, and I repeat, 11 hours of cutscenes.
Damn.
The pacing in this game is horrible. You'll get 15 minutes of cutscenes followed by 2 minutes
But
of
skip
gameplay.
them bitches.
This wouldn't be so bad if 80% of the characters weren't boring. I could not bring myself to finish this game. It's just too boring. I play games for games. At least make it a choose your own adventure story with some dialogue options that affect the story so the game has some more interactions in it. But nope, if you want to play this game, be prepared to put your controller down and take a nap. And if the excessive cutscenes don't put you to sleep, the mindless combat will. If you want a proper action Final Fantasy game, you're better off playing Final Fantasy Remake or the remake that's coming out in 2024, Rebirth Part 2, or you can go for the Crisis Core remake because Final Fantasy 16 is beyond disappointing, man. And our next entry for most mid games of 2023
this game was
goes to
horrible.
Immortals of Avium.
I knew
It's
this game
another
was going to
EA
be
game published in
garbage when I
2023,
seen
but
this
it was
trailer.
left out to dry because it had no real support. This game basically
Like, look at
dropped
this
out of
first
nowhere. So when I
person, like,
streamed
what
it,
is
I got
this?
a lot of I didn't know this game even came out yet type of comments. Basically, this game never stood a chance without a proper push from EA. The thing is though, I'm starting to think they didn't push it on purpose because they knew it was mid. The only award Immortals of Avium could win this year is game most likely to make you go blind. Seriously, what is this? Who thought a first-person magic shooter would be lit? Once you get past the idea of them shooting magic instead of bullets, it doesn't change the fact this game is a generic first-person shooter. A generic first-person shooter that will fuck up your eyesight at that. This game went OD on the bright neon sparkles and colors. It was so bad, I had to play this game with my blue light lens glasses on because without them, my eyes felt like. The story was mid too. You fight for the light magic army and the evil magic army's trying to invade your kingdom, so you gotta defend it. There's no depth to this game. This game wanted to be Magic Doom with its swinging mechanics so badly, but instead what we got is a pretty forgettable first-person shooter hiding behind
don't look that bad. It probably would have been better if it was a multiplayer game.
I mean, the visuals are cool, but is it fun? Pick it up if you see it at the GameStop bargain bin for like $5, but other than that, leave this game alone.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
And my last controversial pick for this list of mid is Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Bro, Assassin's Creed used to be my favorite gaming series of all time, bro. From Assassin's Creed 1 all the way to Assassin's Creed. Well, what was my last Assassin's Creed that I really enjoyed? Like the last Assassin's Creed I beat was, I think, was it Assassin's Creed what was the one with all the? It was the one where you can run multiplayer up to 4 people. It was that one. But other than that, I haven't finished an Assassin's Creed game in years. I didn't like Odyssey. I don't like this new RPG element they got in Assassin's Creed. This is not fucking Assassin's Creed, bro. Like, go back to the Brotherhood goddamn mechanics or something, please.
As an Assassin's Creed fan, I fucking hate this game. This is one of the worst Assassin's Creed games, but as a critic, I have to be fair and say it is a functional game. Like, it does work, but it's not fun. Basim, hands down, is the worst assassin in the series. He's not interesting, he's not charming, he's slow, clunky, fat, and he's limited in combat. The limited in combat part is due to Ubisoft taking a return to roots with this game, but his limited fighting style doesn't mean it has to be bad. I'd actually argue it's lazy gameplay design. The combat consists of waiting for someone to swing, parry, and then you kill them. I don't even care if I'm spoiling the game. That was literally one of the final boss fights. I was sitting there playing this game in disbelief like, boring. The worst part is that Ubisoft contradicts their boots to the ground approach by giving Basim the option to teleport. If you complete the skill tree, which is very easy by the way, you can teleport up to 5 times in a row to assassinate people. Do you know how easy that made the game? I guess they had to make that part easy because Lord knows the parkour isn't. I don't know if they lost the code to their old parkour system, but the one in this game is just awful. Basim struggles to grab on the most obvious surfaces, making it harder to climb than it needed to be. And the icing on the cake is the story. The ending was god awful. I won't spoil it here, but if you want to spoil it for yourself, just go watch my Assassin's Creed Mirage uninstalled video. I'll leave a link in the description box below.
I might gotta go watch that.
This wasn't the worst game I've ever played, but throughout my entire playthrough of Assassin's Creed Mirage, I kept asking myself, why does this game exist? For my next pick, I'm gonna highlight another Square Enix game.
Man, I wanted at the top of 2023,
this was the internet's biggest punching bag. Some people acted like this is the worst game ever, but in my opinion, it was just AAA mid. The positives Forspoken had going going for it was the traversal system was a lot of fun. It was fast, fluid, and intuitive, so it made exploring
that shit
a
looked
breeze.
clean,
I
but
also enjoyed
everybody
the
said this
combat
shit
as
was
well.
ass.
I had a good time mixing and matching the spells. The problem with this game actually is one of its strengths. Because exploring was so fun and easy, people quickly discovered this large open world was mostly empty. Dear game
so that was
developers,
it?
most of us are tired of large open world games with hardly anything in them to do. That is, unless your game is a game that barely runs at 720p, 30 FPS like Tears of the Kingdom, then you get a pass for some reason, but that's another conversation for another day.
Tough shit.
Causing trouble, you have no idea.
Another issue with Forspoken was the writing and performances were just bad. I understand it was supposed to be a tacky isekai or whatever it's called, but it still wasn't done well because nobody laughed. The game felt more like a glorified tech demo than a complete package. It's like Square developed the combat and the movement system and then they just stopped trying after that. So ultimately what we ended up with is some AAA mid. And for my last mid game of 2023, I saved the best for last,
like
but only
this
because of the
shit.
hype surrounding this
Oh
game.
my
Of course I'm
God.
talking about Starfield. This game was hyped to the
Y'all remember the one and only video I made on this bitch?
heavens and back because it was supposed to be Bethesda's next big RPG. They had been working on this game for so long. They even claimed they revamped their engine to help take things to the next
for
level,
some
but instead what
bullshit.
we got is nothing short of a disappointment. This game is
Back
the
to the
prime
drawing
example
board.
of why I kick off all my before you install videos with a disclaimer stating this is just my first impressions of the first few hours of the game. The reality is that I did enjoy my first few hours of Starfield, but sadly, Starfield is one of those games where the more you play it, the worse,
worse
it
it
got.
just
It's
got.
a few key
This shit
things that
was
bother me
fucking-
about the gameplay loop. A lot of the missions are the same.
I was
Go
not
rescue
finna
this
travel
person,
everywhere
you
on
get there,
foot,
they don't
bruh.
need your help, so then you return to your quest giver and they just give you XP. Or how about you walk around some quiet planet scanning shit for God knows why? Or the classic, this base is infested by generic pirates, so please go kill them all missions. I found the overall plot and mystery of the world interesting, but I couldn't point to one character that stood out to me. Like, where's the Garrus or the Prestons of this world? I'm sure there was a settlement in space that needed my help. The game was buggy and glitchy, the UI is slow and clunky, and overall the game just felt like it needed more time in the oven. When I first started playing it, I would have gave Starfield an 8.5, but these days I'd say it's more like a 7.
Yep.
Still a decent game.
I'm about to say,
but
it's
it
not
looks really
trash,
bad
it's
due to
just-
all the hype and all the quality games.
It
that
needs a
dropped
lot
this
of
year.
more
I do think Starfield
things.
will improve over time like Cyberpunk if Bethesda and the mod community
Now, what I
continues
wanna
pump
try
out
Cyberpunk,
updates and
but
content, but that's a crazy
I'm pretty
risk to
sure-
take
I feel
this
like
day
it's
and
too
age.
late to play
Gaming
that
is so
shit.
competitive this day and age with the constant releases. The gamers are quick to move on, so it's sad to see Bethesda stumble out the gate with some mid. But hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles. And since we're on the
Shit.
topic of mid and you're still here, you clearly have some free time. Why not check out my video titled The Slander Awards 2023? The crew and I slander all the mid announcements at the award show.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm not finna react to a 50-minute video. But, yeah, man, there was a lot of mid games this year. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I only played maybe one handful of new games that came out this year. I think I'm gonna wait. But what I am gonna play in January is Baldur's Gate 3. I'm finna play that shit. That looked way too fun when I saw RDC play that shit. I'm gonna need to get my niggas on there and probably make our own videos. But if you guys enjoyed that video, it will be the first link down below in the description box below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm out, man.